This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and good to be with you. I'm Audrina Sinclair.
And I'm Jackie Kostick in for Dana this morning. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday morning. Chicago police are warning schools and parents as plans of large teen gatherings circulate online. The alert this morning after past crowds have turned violent.
And a win for two Northwestern professors who fought a federal investigation targeting their legal clinic.
And the trade war escalating between the U.S. and China as China hits back with more aggressive tariffs.
But in better news, let's start here at 9 o'clock with a live look outside over the skyline, and the sun is finally out. We're also excited for a warm-up for the weekend.
Yes, meteorologist David Yeomans joining us right now with that good news on this Friday.
Good morning, and I love it because I've been the bearer of bad news all week. It's been gray, it's been dreary. The sun is out today, though, and it stays with us really for much of the weekend. Tomorrow, the warmest day in 2 weeks, 60, a little bit cooler by the lake. Everybody warms up further, though, on Sunday, even as some clouds return and a slight chance of a shower. We're at 66, maybe lower 70s far from the lake. Right now, morning clouds are breaking. The sun is out downtown. It's 42 degrees right now and warming up fairly quickly. Again, a little bit of a lake breeze limiting our warm up today, but hey, we'll still make it to 50 or even a little warmer with sunglasses weather all afternoon. This by itself is the warmest we've been since last weekend. Coming up, we're now homing in on a better chance of thunderstorms, maybe some big spring storms returning next week. We'll have your full 7-day outlook in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, David, we'll see you then. Thank you. And now we turn to your nonstop news, where Chicago police are on high alert after some social media posts came out about a large teen gathering.
It's expected to happen tonight at Millennium Park. Darius Johnson is live there this morning. And Darius, we saw something similar just a few weeks ago that ended up with some arrests and injuries as well.
Hey there, ladies. Yes, and I'm going to show you some of that video, but one thing I can tell you is since then, many of the residents who live in the downtown area have really teamed up with some of the businesses or organizations here downtown as well so that they can stop this from happening. These people say that they are fed up about the so-called takeovers. I want you to take a look at some video that we just shot this morning here at Millennium Park. Take a look at this. You can see Chicago police officers were out here as early as 7 o'clock this morning canvassing Millennium Park, just trying to get a lay of the land. It appears that they are preparing for anything that could possibly pop off later tonight. Now in Streeterville, this is that video from just 2 weeks ago. You can see hundreds of teens crowding the streets. The chaos led to fistfights, tasers, and even gunshots erupting. A 15-year-old was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital. Now today, police say they are tracking new social media buzz about people coming to Millennium Park tonight. They are beefing up patrols, promising a strong police presence and additional resources in order to keep the public safe. Chicago Public Schools even sent a warning email on behalf of police urging parents to talk to their children and work with officers. We had a chance to speak to the former chief of detectives last night about not infringing upon First Amendment rights. Take a listen.
You can move them in a different direction, give them alternatives to going to that specific location, and minimize the risk of the Millennium being disrupted.
And you know, just speaking once again to that police presence, on my right side, I'm looking at multiple cruisers, multiple patrol vehicles that are parked on the right of me, at least 4 of them. And then to my left, I just saw police officers on bikes. So it definitely shows that they have that additional presence, those additional resources. Millennium Park, however, has a 6 p.m. curfew for minors Thursdays through Sunday. The citywide curfew is at 10 p.m. But Second Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins has really been pushing for that curfew to be changed from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock. He's expected to bring that up at City Council next week. So we'll see what happens tonight. And of course, our crews will be out here. We're live at Millennium Park. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago. Ladies, back to you.
All right, Darius, thank you so much. And breaking overnight, a man is dead after a SWAT standoff in northwest suburban Crystal Lake.
And the McHenry County Sheriff's Office has not said who fired the shots, but they are confirming that man was hit and later died. The Sheriff's Office says this began as a domestic dispute. And here's Skywatch over where this was happening at Briarwood and North Avenue yesterday afternoon, middle of the day here. Now, the county SWAT and hostage negotiation teams were called in after deputies said a man barricaded himself inside the house and he was armed. When talks between that man and the hostage negotiation team fell apart, that's when gunfire rang out. The man later died, and we've asked the Sheriff's Office to clear up who fired the weapons. Right now, they're only telling us it was a deputy-involved shooting, so we're waiting for more information on that.
Today is the second day for Chicago teachers to vote on whether to accept a new contract proposal from Chicago Public Schools. The tentative deal got the green light from union leadership last week. Teachers will receive a 4% raise this year and then raises up to 5% each of the 3 remaining years of that deal. The deal also includes limits on class sizes, more prep time, and increases the number of librarians in the district. CTU plans to share the results with us on Monday morning. 2 Northwestern University professors have won a lawsuit against the U.S. House Education and Workforce Committee.
Now, we first told you about this yesterday as the committee was investigating them over some illegal advice they gave to anti-Israel protesters out at O'Hare. 40 people were arrested during that demonstration last year. The professors argued, though, that giving the legal clinic data to Congress would have caused irreparable harm to the clinics. The committee ended up withdrawing its demand for that data, with the lawyers calling the decision a win for academic freedom and the rule of law. And we continue to follow that breaking news in the ongoing trade war.
Overnight, China announced it's raising tariffs on U.S. goods from 84% to 125%. The move comes after President Trump raised tariffs to the same level on Chinese goods. Chinese officials say they will fight to the end, and Trump's tariffs will become a, quote, joke in the history of the world economy. Our Marissa Perlman will join us at 9:30 to discuss more on the impact those tariffs could have and what they will likely mean for you. Markets are responding to the news this morning. The U.S. stock market opened just 30 minutes ago, and you can see that stocks are up to start the day, but we will keep our eye on that throughout the day.
President Trump also turning his attention to Chicago, saying he's working on papers to withhold federal funding for sanctuary cities like here. That could be a huge blow to the city's budget. Chicago's budget has already planned on $3.5 billion in federal grants for this year. Last year, Chicago received about $2.5 billion, and data shows more than $46 billion of federal grants funded the migrant mission. That means only about 1.85% of the federal grant money was actually spent on migrants. The rest is paid for things like transit, security, domestic violence protection, and Chicago's summer food program. It is not clear which programs would be most impacted if the federal government does withdraw this money. Now, this comes as the annual Cinco de Mayo parade on Chicago's west side has been canceled. Organizers say the Trump administration's immigration policies are to blame for that. Now, the Cermak Road Chamber of Commerce tells us the Mexican community is really scared because of the raids and threats from ICE. They add that they feel there's nothing to celebrate this year. Organizers say they are planning for the event's return next year. And a U.S. district judge says the Maryland man the Trump administration mistakenly deported must be returned to the U.S. by midnight on Monday. This after the Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that the administration must facilitate the man's release from custody in El Salvador. The Justice Department points out the ruling defers to the executive branch when it comes to foreign affairs. It argues the U.S. cannot force El Salvador to free the man from its prison there.
10 Palestinians are accusing Israeli troops of abuse after they were released from an Israeli prison. This is the first release of its kind since Israel ended the ceasefire in March. The 10 men were detained by Israeli troops in the northern Gaza Strip during the offensive there before January's ceasefire. The men say they were being held in a prison camp that has become known for its abuse of Gaza detainees. Well, we were waiting to hear from federal investigators today about the tragic tour helicopter that crashed in New York yesterday, killing 6 people. This is a live look at the crash site at the Hudson River near New Jersey this morning. That's where the National Transportation Safety Board began investigating last night. Jared Hill has more on that crash, and we do want to warn you this morning that some of the images may be disturbing.
Video shows a helicopter tumble out of the sky, then plunge into the Hudson River Thursday. All 6 people on board, including a family of 5 with 3 children, killed.
Oh my gosh.
Witnesses say they saw the tourist chopper break apart midair just seconds before the crash.
The propeller just exploded,
and scattered.
According to the NYPD, flight tracking data shows the Bell 206 aircraft was being used by the tour company New York Helicopter. It took off from downtown Manhattan just before 3 p.m. and was in the air for less than 20 minutes.
We are devastated.
The head of New York Helicopter says they leased the chopper from a company based in Louisiana. He declined to discuss its inspection record.
We follow all the rules and more.
According to the NYPD, not too long after the helicopter took off from this pier, 4 people were found dead in the water in this crash. 2 others were taken to the hospital where they were later pronounced dead. Authorities are saying that the family of 5 on board was visiting New York from Spain.
CBS News New York has learned the victims were Agustin Escobar, an executive with the technology company Siemens, his wife, and their 3 children. The National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA are now investigating. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Reactions continue to pour in over this tragic accident. President Donald Trump posted on social media, "God bless the families and friends of the victims," while Spain's prime minister said it is an unimaginable tragedy.
The Illinois Senate has approved a bill that would allow counties to put a recall process in place for countywide elected officials. And the move comes after the murder of Sonia Massey, who was shot and killed by a Sangamon County deputy sheriff in her home. This was near Springfield last July. That's when then Deputy Sean Grayson shot her. The bill would allow the Sangamon County Board to put a recall process referendum on the ballot for next year's general election. If it's approved, the county could then have people sign a petition to recall an election official. The bill now heads to the State House. Well, it is a startling statistic. Black women are 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy or childbirth.
Next, the free educational event Northwestern Medicine is hosting to try to reduce that rate. A doctor will join us live to talk about the mission and the goal.
And a vote today to decide whether the family of a man shot and killed by Chicago police will get more than $1 million settlement. We'll have those stories and more.
And good news from the weather department. The sun is out today as morning low clouds clear, and your Friday evening plans look wonderful. We'll walk you through the warming temperatures this weekend in just a bit.
Welcome back this morning. Well, today marks the start of Black Maternal Health Week. It's a time to raise awareness to the fact that Black women in the U.S. are dying from pregnancy-related causes at a much higher rate. According to the CDC, Black women are 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy or childbirth when compared with white women. And as part of this week focused on action and prevention, Northwestern Medicine is hosting a free educational session. It's Tuesday, April 15th at the Prentice Women's Hospital, and anyone who's pregnant or even considering pregnancy is encouraged to attend. And we're really grateful to have a doctor here in studio with us, Dr. Jackie Hairston, a maternal fetal medicine specialist at Northwestern. Thank you for joining us to talk about this. It's so important right now to talk about.
It is, and we are kicking off Black Maternal Health Week. It's 2025 and the numbers are still stark. We really need to raise awareness, but also do our part as physicians as well as hospitals to really bring patients and potential patients to recognize what are your needs and how can we address them.
And is that what you're hoping to discuss at the event? What can people get out of it if they do go?
Everyone is welcome. You don't need to be a patient of Northwestern. We really want all community members to participate and hear about not only the myths around pregnancy, around epidurals, but how we can safely get you to the outcome of a safe mom and a safe baby.
And speaking of that, I really want to talk about the racial disparities when it comes to pregnancy-related deaths. Why are Black women dying at higher rates than white women?
We have to look at the history of America and the buildup and the legacy of systemic racism and the impact that it has, which can lead to mistrust, but it can also lead to bias in patient care. And so those combination of things can lead to that stark disparity, which is, as we know by the numbers, tremendous.
I've covered so many stories on just the disparities when it comes to medical care, even in our cities specifically, and depending on where you live and if there's a hospital nearby, if you have access to care. And it's just so important to talk about this. So if someone comes to the event, is this something that they can ask questions at the event, or is this something where you're kind of giving a presentation?
Yes, so from 5 to 7:30, we are having continuous tours of our labor and delivery, our postpartum units, but we'll have a segment where we're doing hot topic talks where we're talking about pelvic floor physical therapy. Am I high risk? What do I do if I'm experiencing infertility? And then after that, we'll have a 30-minute question and answer panel. So if you register, you will be able to submit questions that you want the panel to address. But on top of that, you will get free parking.
Oh, that's good. Good to know. Always helpful here, for sure. You know, I've done a lot of stories as well with Black women who've also struggled with infertility, and they talked about how sometimes we just don't talk about it in families, and so sometimes you just think that you might be alone in it. So it's nice to have this community of support too, right?
And the latest data is showing that the teen pregnancy rate is lower than the rate of women who are over 40 getting pregnant, and people are advancing in their careers and then pursuing childbearing. We will have our infertility doctors there talking about infertility and what impact we can make before getting pregnant. How can we get our health conditions in order before pursuing pregnancy?
If someone's watching and they're wondering, what can I do to help reduce my risk if I'm pregnant or if I'm hoping to become pregnant, what is your message to them?
Yes, certainly in terms of pursuing pregnancy, we want to say if you have medical problems, we want you to meet with your doctors beforehand. See if your medications are safe in pregnancy. If you have high blood pressure, we want that under control because that's important, but also saying, what's been my history? Have I tried to get pregnant before? Have I struggled? Because the infertility doctors can do a workup to figure that out.
Last thing I do want to talk about. So I've struggled with this too, when you go into the doctor and you don't even know what to ask or where to start, and you leave and you're like, oh, I don't even know if I got the answer to that question. What's your advice for someone as they go into that office to know what to ask when it relates to this?
You know, I think social media has brought forth a lot of issues that people think are a very high alert. So when you see those videos, take notes on the questions that you have. We are happy to address them. We want people to, yes, get ideas and thoughts from social media, but we really want to address the facts, and this event will help do that. We will have some viral videos that will show and address what is true and not so true about what we're seeing.
That is such a good idea, because sometimes it's just this over-influx of information and you're like, what can I believe out there? So thank you for the expert advice. We appreciate it, Dr. Jackie Hairston. Thank you for coming in here from Northwestern. We appreciate that so much. And we all do want to note that that free open house and educational session is Tuesday, April 15th. It's at Prentice Women's Hospital. It starts at 7:30 p.m.
At 5 to 7:30.
5 to 7:30, and that's when you can ask questions as well. You can register online by going to news.nm.org. It's 9:20 right now, turning to our first alert weather. And you know, David, you talked about that sun that was coming, and we're seeing
Yes, finally. After a gray, gloomy week, temperatures all week have been in the 40s at the peak of heating in the afternoon, and things are warming up along with the sunshine coming back today. Today, it's the warmest day of the week, but this weekend, the warmest in 2 weeks. A few isolated showers are possible on Sunday and Monday, but rain next few days, it's just not likely overall at all. A few clouds are clearing the Chicago lakefront and moving inland toward Will and Grundy counties. Most of us, though, are clearing out and will continue to through the rest of the day. Notice out to the west, we have a big ridge of high pressure over the Four Corners. You see how all the clouds and rain and snow are wrapping around it? This ridge of high pressure itself is moving our way this weekend, and that really clears out the skies and helps boost our temperatures. So today, no longer the 40s. We'll make it to 52, a little cooler along the lake shore. But this weekend, boy, it feels great. 66, finally warmer than normal on Sunday. A few fluctuations up and down, as we always see next week and through the next 10 days overall. But notice 50s and 60s for the next week and a half. That's a lot warmer than the weather that we just had all of this week. So today, 52 degrees with lots of sun, especially this afternoon. Cooler by the lakeside as northeast winds push in over that 40-degree water. That'll cap our highs along the lakefront and in northwest Indiana in the mid and upper 40s just for one more day. Tonight, mostly clear and chilly, 36 degrees, your forecast low. Look at the big warm up this weekend. A little cooler along the lake shore for the beginning of Passover tomorrow, but we're all in the mid 60s, maybe some inland 70s on Sunday and Monday. Rain, it's possible in some areas Sunday, Monday, but not likely until later next week. First alert on the next shot of spring storms coming in 6 days from now. We'll keep you posted on that as you make your plans next Thursday. Chris Habermill joins us now with our first alert traffic. What are the biggest problem spots that we're watching aside from the sun glare finally being a problem this morning?
It's nice to have the sun glare out because Skywatch had to return early because of the low clouds earlier, but that's good. It's kind of a spring feeling out there, and everybody's trying to go to work. So you know what happens when that happens. Yeah, all the core expressways are really glowing brightly. We do have a little bit of a story that happened a little while ago. This is what it looks like kind of far in. Let's venture out a little bit to our friends in Grundy County out to the west of downtown Morris here. We're seeing just a little bit of a delay left. Looks like they've just reopened the left lane there. Crash cleanup westbound 80. past Route 47, an eastbound vehicle. Apparently the driver fell asleep, crossed the center median, and hit a trooper that was sitting there with his canine in the car. Everybody's okay, but there was lots of explaining and cleanup to do. This is what the core expressways look like right now, and of course, the king of them all is going to be the Kennedy. Don't go there unless, well, you want to start your weekend tomorrow instead of today. Ah, boy, don't forget to write. Chris Haberman, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you. Happy Friday. Well, our very own Gayle King is headed to space on Monday. That's right. She shares how she's getting ready for the mission that we still can't believe and how she's leaning on some much-needed support.
Yes, in today's Jumpstart, we're live at a beloved Italian restaurant in the southwest suburbs where the menu's rooted in family and tradition, and cocktails apparently too. Can't wait to see those.
On Monday, CBS Mornings host Gayle King will be off the anchor desk and off the entire planet. She's joining an all-female flight crew blasting off to space on the Blue Origin rocket. Now, the mission also includes pop star Katy Perry and also a former NASA rocket scientist, Aisha Bowe. Now, before the flight, Gayle sat down with Vladimir Duthier to talk about the support that she's getting from her 2 children and her bestie, Oprah.
If any of the 3 of them had said, I don't think it's a good idea or I'm worried, I wouldn't have done it. But they were all so excited and enthusiastic for me.
If they were afforded the opportunity, if Will or Kirby or Oprah...
I refuse to answer that question.
Why, Gayle?
No.
What would you say to them?
Gayle eventually did answer, and she said that if any of them really, really wanted to do it, then she would support them.
Sometimes it's easier to do it yourself than to watch someone you love do
true.
something. You know, it's like
so
we can build up the courage, but it's like, oh gosh, but that's scary. It's risky. You know, it feels risky, but it's going to be really cool to watch.
It will
what
be.
A production.
All day we've been going back and forth. Like, would you do it if you had a chance? Would you go to space if you had an opportunity?
Yeah, it's an age-old question.
It's wild. All right, still ahead at 9:30, we have Praise Productions live in studio with us. We're excited about it. It's a Southside dance company, and they're working to bring art to underserved communities. They joined us to talk about their latest production, and they're already getting moving here in studio. Can't wait for that live interview.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and great to be with you on this Friday. I'm Audrina Sinclair.
And I'm Jackie Kostek in for Dana. It is 9:30. Thanks so much for sticking with us on a beautiful Friday ahead. So ahead this half hour, we're getting a preview of the latest production by nonprofit dance company Praise Productions. How their latest show is encouraging everyone to take some time for rest.
Speaking of praise, I'm doing a little praise right now.
Yes.
We're seeing that sunshine out there. So nice to see it. You know, as we turn to David here, it's funny how easily we are made happy with the weather after like such a gloomy week.
Well, it's been cloudy and in the 40s every single day this week, so that'll do a number on you when we're in mid-April and we're waiting for the tulips to bloom, right? This weekend, that may start to happen in your neighborhood. Look at this, 60, sunny tomorrow. That's the warmest day in 2 weeks in Chicago. 66 with more clouds and an isolated shower, along with stronger winds on Sunday. But overall, your plans look absolutely wonderful compared to the last few days. The sun is already out as low clouds have now broken in the loop. It's 42 degrees, still jacket weather this morning. High temperatures in the loop will be kept cooler for one more day from that lake breeze, only 47 this afternoon, while inland areas will be 10 to 15 degrees warmer. This evening, your Friday night plans look really unobstructed by any bad weather. Mid-40s for dinner time, low 40s with light winds and clear skies by 10 p.m. Coming up, our next chance of spring storms is now in sight. We'll have your full 7-day forecast in First Alert Weather. Back to you.
All right, David, thanks so much. Well, this morning, 2 big settlements will be voted on in this Chicago City Finance Committee.
The first settlement is $1.25 million. It's for the family of Dexter Reed. That name may sound familiar to you. It's because Reed was killed by Chicago police officers last year in a shootout after a traffic stop on the west side of the city. Now, that settlement would also set new restrictions on traffic stops for the police department. This settlement was going to go before the Finance Committee late February. February, but that vote was pushed back. Then the bigger settlement, the other one, is for the St. Louis man who lost both of his legs on Chicago's Mag Mile after he was hit and pinned by a car that was fleeing police at the time. That was 2022. The settlement is for $32 million. 20 of that would come from the city, and then $12 million would be covered by the city's insurance.
A settlement has also been reached for the widow of a Fox Lake lieutenant who staged his own death in 2015. Police say Joe Glinowitz shot himself and tried to make it look like he'd been gunned down in the line of duty. It was all to cover up that he'd been stealing from the police youth program. The Daily Herald reports the settlement is nearly $1 million.
And now we turn to breaking news in the ongoing trade war.
China announced just hours ago that it is raising tariffs on the U.S. goods from 84% to 125%. Our Marissa Perlman is joining us live in studio now with what's next and what industries could be impacted the most by these.
I think that is the big question. Good morning to you both. Yeah, small businesses here at home already reacting to this. Some of them saying they've already received massive bills from UPS for tariffs and related fees on overseas orders. The move comes after President Trump raised tariffs to the same level on Chinese goods.
I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries. I look forward to it.
So just days after the president made these comments, the universal tariffs on China now at a total of 145%. China's tax will make it more expensive for Chinese companies to buy and bring U.S.-made goods into the country and could cut U.S. producers off from an important trade market. Some of China's biggest imports from the U.S., seed oils and grains, gas and oil, also pharmaceutical products and medicine. 73% of America's smartphones, 78% of our laptops, and 77% of our toys come from China. Stock markets, as we've seen this week, are taking a hit from that tit for tat between the U.S. and China. Now let's take a live look now at the New York Stock Exchange board about an hour into opening bell. Here is a look at how the numbers stand. We are down 137 points at this point. Now, business executives are warning of a potential recession, and some of the top U.S. trading partners could retaliate with their own import taxes.
Listen, it took us 40 years to get into this problem. It's not going to resolve itself in 4 days or 4 months. You know, you can't build factories that fast.
So we'll have to see what happens with the stock market as this hike goes into effect tomorrow. For now, Audrina, Jackie, back to you.
Marissa, thank you so much. And as the trade war continues, some Democratic senators are asking if anyone in President Donald Trump's circle knew that he was going to pause those tariffs and made stock market trades because of it. Senators Adam Schiff and Ruben Gallego are calling for an inquiry into possible insider trading in connection with Trump's tariff pause. It is illegal for government officials to trade based on inside information they received in their official government capacity.
It's a cupcake-sized pastry and kind of has a funny name. A Highland Park deli created it by accident, and now they can't even keep the thing on the shelves. We found out how the duffin was invented. From cookies to donuts and muffins, you have a lot of options for sweets at Once Upon a Bagel in Highland Park. But right here, nestled in the bakery case, is something you might not recognize. It's the duffin.
A duffin is a combination of a donut and a muffin, or shall I say a glorious combination of a donut and a muffin.
That's right. You got donut plus muffin equals duffin. Adam Dlatt, who owns this shop, introduced this mashup, if you will, earlier this year.
The response has been great. It's something a little bit different. It's something that nobody around here makes, that nobody has really seen.
And we get to see how these things are made. Funny part is, Dlatt says the duffin was actually created by accident.
So one of the bakers was making the donuts, our cake donuts, which are very, very popular, and they had added a little bit too much water to it. So we decided to pour the batter, the donut batter, into the muffin tins, and thus the duffin was born.
Let's give it a whirl.
Our Chris Ty took a break from political reporting to try one.
It's very light in the bottom and kind of crunchier on the top with a really nice coating of like sugar.
That leaves us with just one question. If it's part donut and part muffin, why not call it a mo-nut?
Because duffin's much easier, much more easy to spell and say.
Duffin, Monut, the deli owner, Adam Platt, says they carry the Duffins at all their locations, and they're selling out of these things nearly every single day. So you got to line up and you got to get one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they do look good. I don't think anything with cinnamon and sugar on the top would be bad, but yeah, I mean, combine two good things, you still got a good thing.
I know. I've seen like the croissant and chocolate chip cookie mix mashup.
Yes.
We've seen the
croissant and donut mix, the cronut.
All the things.
All
right, next up.
They all sound good.
Oh, yeah, all of it. Praise Productions live in studio to talk about their shows this weekend and give us our very own live performance. Excited about that.
And for today's Jumpstart, we're back at a local Italian restaurant known for its family traditions and authentic flavors. Can't wait for that.
And sunshine and warmer temperatures begin today with highs in Chicago in the lower 50s away from the lake. This evening's plans look great as well with clear skies, light winds, and seasonably cool temperatures. I'll show you when we may see some 70s return in the forecast next.
Welcome back. In today's Jumpstart, we're at a beloved family-owned Italian restaurant in the southwest suburbs.
And Clara's in Woodbridge has been serving up authentic flavors for 38 years. All morning we've been hearing about so much of the family history, which is so cool to hear. Joining us now is Sissy Melchiori, the general manager, with a look at the happy hour menu this time around. Give us some of the goods. What's going on there?
Hi there. Yeah, we're excited. For the first time ever, we're launching a happy hour menu. So we do have some of our new features. One of them are going to be our mini panzotti, which is essentially just like a fried mini calzone. We also have some homemade arancini balls, so just your traditional risotto rice with mozzarella inside, and we do a spicy vodka cream with those. So something nice, light, something just to help people out.
My mouth is, yes.
That will help us out.
My mouth watering, absolutely. I know that we saw you pour in some drinks a little bit earlier. So what are the cocktails or the drinks specials involved in the happy hour?
Right, so we're going to be doing our cocktails for select cocktails like our Moscow Mule, Margarita. That's going to be $8. We're going to do our glasses of wine for $5. And then select beers are going to be between $4, $5, and $6, depending on which ones are going to be featured at that time.
Nice. Wait, are you the daughter that one of the dishes is named after? And if so, what's the dish again?
I am, yeah. My full name is Ercelia, so it was the shrimp Ercelia that you saw earlier. That would be me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Dad was like saying, I named this after my daughter. I'm like, I love that.
Yeah. Is that actually like one of your personal favorite dishes too? Like, how did it become yours?
You know, he started it right around the time I was born, so I think it was a little bit of just an easy name on his part. It was already something in his head, and it just, you know, by default became one of my favorites, right? You can't say no to something named after you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been so fun to see all the family pictures, too, on the walls, and you're the 4th generation, right, keeping the business going?
I am, yep. So starting with my great-grandmother, but actually even before that, both sides of my family had restaurants back in Italy. So it's been a long-standing tradition, long-standing too, of mostly women running it as well. So I'm proud to continue on and, you know, start working with my dad more.
I was going to say, what is it like to work with some of your family members in that capacity? I mean, I know working in a restaurant is already sort of a stressful environment, so it could kind of go one of two ways.
You know, I will say it's never dull.
That's a good way to put it.
There's always going to be something fun to talk about at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah. Do you and Dad kind of go at it sometimes on stuff?
What's really nice is, you know, I think we both found our little areas. He's much more of the kitchen, I'm more front of house. So, you know, we got like a dividing line.
Perfect. Divide and conquer. I like that.
Exactly. It's all a balance and everybody contributes to the success of Clara's over 38 years. Congratulations on celebrating that milestone. Sissy Melchiori, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's 9:44. We've been talking about food a lot today, and I'm just thinking about
you guys are killing me.
I know. Same. What are we talking about? Duffins. We just talking about
arancini.
Arancini.
Yeah.
We had something fried.
Donuts.
Good.
You guys are killing it.
All the time.
It's only 9:45. I mean, that just sounds so delicious.
Give us all of it.
Starts to
but
water.
hey, maybe we can go out to eat this weekend on a patio or something.
I love that.
I know a lot of restaurants are more seasonal than weather driven, but maybe we can open the patios.
Pull out some of the tables and chairs for us. We'll be on the sidelines. o'clock, it's fine.
I mean, with weather in the 60s to 70 by Sunday, it's going to be wonderful. The sun is already coming back today. That's a live view from our studios, looking out toward Daly Plaza at Washington and Dearborn. Tomorrow, more sunshine, milder temperatures still, and on Sunday, the temperatures keep stepping up, but it does get a little cloudier, a little windier. Still, though, really nice day for your outdoor plants. Radar and satellite, pretty clear. We had a bank of low clouds move through Chicago a couple of hours ago. Those are long gone, and here's why you'll need the sunglasses, not only today, but tomorrow, and really for several days forward. A ridge of high pressure, the blue H means blue skies and warm temperatures. It's moving our way from the desert southwest, and you can see on the overnight radar and satellite how this ridge really deflects all of the bad weather around it. Once this thing repositions itself over the plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes, that's going to lead to the really big warm-up and change in our weather the next couple days. So today, still cooler than normal, but hey, the first day in the 50s instead of the 40s all week. 52 today, 60 tomorrow, even warmer on Sunday and Monday. Some inland locations Sunday may reach the lower 70s far from the lake. We'll see some ups and downs next week, as you would expect in April. But you know, the next 10 days as a whole, so much warmer than this entire work week that we're just climbing our way out of. So today, sunshine finally, 52 degrees, although it will be cooler with the lake breeze at 10 to 15 miles an hour. That means middle, upper 50s well southwest of Chicago, but mid 40s in the coolest locations along the lakefront, like the Loop and in Gary. Overnight tonight, the winds relax and they actually spin around to a southerly direction. That starts the warm-up. A chilly night at 36, but look at the day-by-day climb. Still be a little cooler by the lake for the beginning of Passover tomorrow. 60 degrees, some 50s in the Loop, but then mid 60s, maybe even warmer southwestern zones Sunday and Monday. A few isolated showers are possible at the end of the weekend, but the next real chance of rain not until next Thursday, when some spring thunderstorms are possible. Okay, let's have some fun now. We have some special guests in studio. Jackie, Audrina, over to you.
All right, thanks so much, David. Well, rest and pause are the themes of a Southside dance company's latest production.
Praise Productions is a nonprofit that aims to bring the arts to underserved communities. And this weekend, the company is debuting its latest show. It's called Complexions.
Yes, joining us now for a preview is Annarisa Lynette Davis, Praise Productions CEO and founder, along with a few dancers. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
Tell us a little bit about how Praise Productions got started. And I know we've been saying it's a nonprofit, which is really cool. So how does it work?
Yes, so we're 14 years. We're a nonprofit housed on the south side of Chicago in the Bronzeville community. We have 3 platforms: our Performing Arts Academy for youth. We also have our professional company comprised primarily of women of color, where we wish to galvanize that next wave of women in leadership. And you'll see a little taste of that today. And we do outreach programming.
That is amazing. And I'm excited about Sunday's show because it's called Complexions, but it explores the necessity of rest and pause, especially for Black women. Why did you want to pick that message, and what's your takeaway that you hope people walk away with?
Well, I think in today's society we have so much movement. We get caught up in that rat race and that dog-eat-dog world, and this is a time for us to really get grounded, pause, and rest, and embrace this shift in our lives. And I think that helps us, you know, navigate our purpose, our assignment in our lives, and I think it's something that we all need to do.
How do people see the show?
You have to visit our website, praiseproductions.com, praise with a Z, P-R-A-I-Z-E, productions.com.
All right, so we're going to cut our interview short because we want to see the performance. So let's step aside, and then the ladies will get ready to dance, all right? We're going to go over this way.
Thank you, guys.
One, two, three. Sherry, see me, oh.
here's a look at the stories we are keeping an eye on today.
And we begin your nonstop news with some concerns over another teen gathering planned for tonight. In the past, these have turned violent. So police say they're on alert after a social media post that called for a large gathering of young people in Millennium Park. The so-called teen takeovers, they've led to shootings. They've left teens and tourists hurt. We've seen arrests happen. Police say they are now monitoring the situation tonight. Again, this is set for tonight. And they'll make sure they have enough resources in place to make sure everyone's safe that might be coming downtown.
China announced overnight it is raising tariffs on U.S. goods from 84% to 125%. The move comes after President Trump raised tariffs to the same level on Chinese goods. Chinese officials say they will fight to the end, and Trump's tariffs will become a, quote, joke in the history of the world economy.
Voting happening today for Chicago teachers. They're deciding on whether to accept a new contract proposal from CPS. Now, this tentative deal already got the green light from union leadership last week. CTU planning to share the results with us on Monday morning.
And tonight at 10 in Eye on Chicago, there are firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics helping Chicagoans through some of their toughest times. And they're all women.
Our Marisa Vedra met an author who tells their stories, and here's one of them. Kat Renar spent 20 years as a firefighter, a paramedic, and engineer for the Chicago Fire Department, and she expresses her creative side in her new book, Chicago Strong, The Real Women of Chicago Fire. She wrote the women's stories, she took their photographs, and she focuses on not just their strengths, but also their empathy.
Is it fair to say this is also a sort of a love letter to your career?
It's a love letter to the women on the job.
Meet her and learn more about the women in her book. Looking forward to that in Eye on Chicago, which you can watch tonight at 10.
Well, sunshine already back today, and this continues through the weekend. It'll be a really, really welcome change in the weather for many of us after a gray and cold week. Temperatures today still not quite warm as we would expect this time of the year, upper 40s to lower 50s with a bit of a lake breeze fighting against that warm sun. But this weekend, guys, we'll be in the 60s to near 70 by Sunday. So really wonderful weather to start thinking about a change in the seasons.
Yes. I'm clapping.
Ready for a change.
Yeah, you're snapping. We're doing the whole thing.
Well, I know. I'm snapping. You're clapping.
I know. We're just ready for Friday. Ready to get out there and enjoy that sunshine, the light breeze. I don't care. Let's just get out of here. Your local news continues on our stream.
Thank you for being with us. Always appreciate having you. We will see you on Monday morning. Have a great day and weekend.